Hi everyone, welcome back to GrandpaMark's Hobbies and an unboxing of Revell's 69 Pontiac GTO. Build a stock GTO or the Judge. I'm going to build it as the Judge. I'm going to build this one orange, just not sure what color my interior is going to be yet, so we'll have to see. This is a 1/24 scale kit, and as you can see, they packaged this in a bag to send it to me. So this is the way it came, pretty well beat up. I got a hold of Amazon and told them, you know, I'm tired of this. This is like the third time now that my box came crushed. I did open it up and check it out. And as a matter of fact, I did almost a complete unboxing yesterday of this kit and my battery died. So I didn't finish. So we're going to do a double take, which is good for you because everything's out of the bag now. So let's jump in here. And fortunately, like I said, everything came in good shape. The tires are solid tires, no names, but they do give you some nice decals. They're rubber tree tires. I mean, it's the standard Revell rubber tree tires. Good tread on them though, but you do have that mold line that you'll have to deal with. And I'm gonna do like Hippie Guy did this time and chuck these up on the drill and hit them with the sandpaper this way. Just, I haven't done it yet and I wanna try it. Let me move the box over here and we'll start with the instructions, which are typical Revell instructions, always good. They're not stapled this time though. First time I think I've ever gotten a Revell instructions that aren't stapled together, which, you know, it's no big deal. Now it's just a fan fold, and I think it was supposed to be stapled and just never got it, but who knows? And really doesn't bother me. You got your call outs, and on this you got your car paint color and what color stripes they should be, which is pretty cool. That way you don't do like I probably would and say, you know what, I want it the red or the orange, and I'd go with the white and red instead. You know, if I'm gonna pick one, it's gonna be picked wrong. Typical, like I said, typical instructions. Nothing's changed except for the back sheet. This is usually a little bit bigger, but it's still fine. I don't even need my lenses to read this, but there we go there. You can only talk so much about instructions. Decals, you can talk all day about them though. Here, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in because I've seen so many of these unboxings where they're like, oh, yep, check it out, looks good, oh, and then they're out. And the decals and pretty much the instructions are what I'm really looking for here. But these decals, they come all four colors for the Judge, and the kit's pushing the Judge. You got your good gauge cluster in here. You got GTOs, and they're in separate decals. Some of you guys might like that. Some of you guys might hate that. I'm kind of indifferent, except for when I just did the Firebird, I wanted to put the 400 script decal right over the 400 script on the hood, and the decals were a smidge bigger, so they would not line up with the script because I was looking for that 3D look. Everything else lined up nice, but those did not line up for squat. So I had to hand paint them after I already had it body color, because if I knew that, I would have sanded that off. But these things are individual, so you can lay them down, and we'll look at it when we get into the body to see if that's what we'll do, is lay them right over top of the 3D and make them a little bigger. You got your GTO here, ram intake in the black or the white, a couple of license plates. I'm going Ohio plate. Nice engine decals, and you got your Firestone Tracos, seat belts. Not sure what 33 is here, and you have for your tires, or for your rims, I'm sorry. On my Firebird, I use clear red, and I think it looks really good. With these, I might just use smoke. We'll see, and then take a red marker or red something and highlight the letters on the rims. But we'll see when we get there. That's a long way away. Really nicely done seat belts. I won't use them in this, but I will keep them. I was asked why I never put seat belts in my builds. And to be honest with you, if it's not 75 and up, I'm going to bury the seat belts in the back seat, or in the seat cushions, like we did on every car I ever had when growing up. Pretty much until I had my Firebird and got back to Ohio, those seat belts were hidden. You never saw them. So that's where they end up. But these are really nice. And if you took these decals and put them on really thin evergreen stock and then trimmed them out, I think they'd look really good. And then that'd be flexible enough to where you can bend them to fit instead of them form-fitting over top of the seat cushion or the seats like they do. They would a little bit, but the way the decals lay down is they'll lay right in those seams, and that just, to me, that doesn't look that realistic, and that's 99 times out of 100 why I do hide them. I just use the excuse of the age and get away with it. So there's the decals. We'll pull out the chrome, and thank you, Revell, because their chrome tree, this is it. It's not huge. It's not overly chromed. This is it. You got a stick shift, your mirror, your outside mirror, 2 valve covers, 4 rims, your light covers, and your back bumper. Ba-boom. It's all you need. You don't need the alternator. I don't need a chromed out oil tank or a chromed carburetor. Just this is all that we really need for chrome. If you wanted to do extra, you could always grab your airbrush chrome. They even make this in a paintbrush now, so it's for real small parts, but it works really good. But there is our chrome tree, open pretty good. I got a few of them that had chrome flash, is what I call it. And I just, with the flying finger here, I was able to open those up. It's not plastic, it's just the chrome wash made a little bubble on them, and when it dried, it stayed. So there's our chrome. Chuck it out the way. We'll grab our first sprue, and like I said, I already went through all these, so they're out of the bags. We have a one-piece tub, not partial for them. I'd rather have the split where the sides are split, but we can work with this. The detail in here, I love the Y, the flying Y that they have. Our door handles are okay. We can get in there from across the way. I put my hand on this side and I work that paintbrush up and down, and it works really good to get into that part right there. The back seats have the little chrome tab decals. I don't know if you ever remember sitting in those after you went to the lake, and this thing was sitting in the sun, and these things were 5 million degrees. You'd sit back and it'd smell like somebody was cooking bacon. What I do like is, check these out. These 4 right here with the little latches, these are your armrests. So even though there's not a ton of details here, when you put the armrests in place, this is going to look really good. Pedals are molded in. You got all 4 of them. So we're good to go there. And what else we got here? We got our heads. Nicely done. Not, they're just good enough detail. We'll get in there. We'll get the wires run and everything. I'm going to do like Lennis did this time and do paperclip boots. See how that works out for me. We got a nice one-piece fin for the back, our spoiler. I really like how this is molded in place. It makes it a lot easier for me because I never can get these things to lay 90 degrees to the top. It just, I don't know, it's just me. I don't need a ton of parts if I have stuff that's decent like this. We got our dashboard is in great looks. I mean, there's good detail in there for what detail there is. This one, the radio doesn't have any decals or anything, or the climate control. But if I really wanted to, I can drop that climate control one here from my Firebird kit. I had the decal for that. Probably fit right in there. This bottom section, I gotta look, but I think this was wood grain and this was not. Have to look, I can't remember. We have our master cylinder that's, again, with the flat sail on the top of it to show that little metal wire that goes over the top. So we're gonna sand that off and use our AWG 32 wire. Work good. Watch my finale, or watch the build 4 of my Firebird, and it'll show what I did with that. We got our hood tack, nice exhaust manifolds, water pump, fuel pump attached, windshield washer motor, and I'm not sure what that would be. That probably like where the wire harness thing is. We have a one-piece, well, two-piece rear end, but the exhaust and differentials put on there. Some people like that, some people don't. I like that because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten the engine glued in, the rear end suspension, all that, and I look on the desk and the dang drive shaft is still laying on the desk. So I'm okay with that. I gotta look and see what's going on here. I have one muffler smaller than the other. I'm wondering if that makes a different sound or something, if they did it because of that, or if that's just the way it fits under the frame. Not sure about that, and if anybody knows, throw me a line. Save me a half an hour or so looking online. But the detail's good enough on here. We got our little hookups here, and I think that I might take the shackles from the Firebird and put on this. Not sure. That's a couple miles down the road. Our engine, seats, and the rest of the suspension. The seats are awesome. They're two-piece seats, again with the flying Y and the chrome. Decent steering wheel, good enough detail to where we can work with that. My fan blade, they're curled up a little bit, so I'm gonna have to heat that up and flatten them out, but it looks like it's almost supposed to be that way. So I guess I'm gonna go online first and see if they're supposed to be bent, because I've never worked on a Judge, and God knows, I doubt it, but I'm gonna make sure. We have a very flat battery, a very small battery too, but it has the cable clamps built on, so we can drill that and then paint them up, and we'll have our wires. Our turn signal is done a lot nicer than the Firebird was. At least it's tapered. Alternator, not chromed. Thank you very much. Radiator and wall. Back seat. Good detail on these. I'm telling you, these are really good details. I don't know what color I'm going to do. This thing, I got to look and see if the Judge even had more than just one color of interior. I don't know that much about them. So we'll find out. And like I said, the orange one, I don't know the options that came with all of them. Our 400 engine, decent. Starters built in. The oil filters built in. Motor mounts stick out pretty good. We'll have to look at the chassis when we get there and see how wide that is, if that's one of those wide grooves where they drop and lock, I like that setup. It worked out really well with the other one for me. So there we go. I think that's the battery, and that'll just lay on. I have no idea. I'm talking out my ear. Belt looks a little bit wonky. We'll take care of that. But again, decent detail. We can even do the bolts inside. And I'm really glad that that alternator is not chrome. So we're going down. This isn't a very parts heavy kit. So we're actually coming down to the gritty nitty here. We have intake with distributor, not the best looking distributor either, molded right on the intake. I think I'm going to cut that off and use one of the aftermarket distributors. I might just use the distributor cap and leave the ring on here. That'll give me a nice place to cut that off and get that out of there so I can wire this up a lot easier. We have a Hertz shifter, gonna use it. The Rochester carburetor, I'm gonna put my visor down for a second. Detailed, very nicely detailed. We can work with that. I like that. I like that a lot. Our air cleaner cover, air cleaner, kind of shows the air cleaner in here, so when this fits down on top of it, you'll see the white, so we'll paint that up accordingly. I used on the other one, for the foam part, I used dark gray. When I get to it, I'll make sure that everybody knows what color that is, and by then we'll be in the other room. But it looks good when you paint. I painted it all semi-gloss black, and then I painted the foam part the dark gray, and man, it looked really good for foam. So we got our wheel backs, we got our GTO hood with the scoops on it, the no little half moon scoop for the tack, so we can place the tack on there and not worry about it missing the lineup just a little bit, so I don't have to sand anything off. There was no GTO script or anything. The ram airs that were on this were decals, so we don't have to worry about sanding off anything if we're going to use the decals on the hood. The front clip, the turn signals are molded in. The bottom part here is molded on, so we'll come in here with our acrylic. We'll paint that the acrylic black, and then we'll take our gel pen and do that chrome ring that goes around the bottom here. The top part is open for the headlights to drop in. That'll be easy peasy. Looks good. I'm gonna look in the directions real close to make sure that I can glue that on first, so that, you know, everything will fit. I've had a couple of them where if you glue that on, you'd have to cut the chassis to make it fit in there. So I don't want to get into that. License plate box is molded right on there, so that'll be easy. And like I said, not a whole lot of parts to this, but so far the parts I'm seeing are good enough. Our chassis has the radiator hose molded in, and the radiator and shroud is like one piece thing here, molded in. This piece stays, don't cut it off, and don't cut off your steering linkage. That would be bad. So just snip, snip, here and here, there and there, walk away good. If you snip that off, it's gonna be really hard to steer. I looked really hard on here, and the only place, which is good because I hate it when they bury it down in here where all the details are supposed to be, but the only place I saw any letters was right here on the frame rail. And that's nice because I can take the back of an X-Acto blade, and if you feel these, this one was stamped this way, where the stamp came down across it like that. And what that does is that gives just a little bit of a a burly edge right here, I guess you could call it. So you just take that, run it up and down this thing a little bit. You can hear it chewing, and it'll take that off. It takes a few minutes, but I don't know. With this, you can hit it with a sanding stick, I guess. But I just took 3/4 of it off of there just now. So that works nice for like extrusion marks and things like that, where you got to dig down on them and stuff. Oh, and you know what? I wanted to show you that. Let me, shiny object things. Underside of the hood is usually a pain in the behind because there's usually 4 extrusion marks right here. There aren't any on this. This is nice and clean. I saw that when I was doing the unboxing before my battery died. And I really am happy with that. There's no extrusion marks in the chassis either. None. They're just not there. There's one here and one here, but if you shine that thing around, you got it underneath the seats where it belongs instead of right here in the middle of the frickin' floor. That just irks me to no end. The bottom side, not visible. So spray painted black and it'll go on the chassis because you can see it all. This whole thing has to be, you know, spray painted black, or else you're gonna have to come back like I do every once in a while and have to repaint it. So, but the chassis looks good. Again, we got decent detail on here. A little tiny bit of texturing, which I like because when you dust it with pastels, it grips to it. And then you can handle it and the pastels just kind of get pushed in there even harder. But it looks good. This is a wide body. I noticed that the other day when I was filming it. This is wide body. So, and I don't remember it being that wide, but it is a lot wider than the Firebird and the Mustangs. But in here you do have your brake lines run, your fuel lines run. So they're not real huge, but they're there. The gas tank is well done. Good strap on it. Easy for me to say, right? And what I like about the strap is it actually has mounting bolts where it doesn't just go into Never Never Land. So somebody thought that out. That'll look really good, especially with the suspension on top of it. That's one thing that I always kind of noticed. And one thing I always thought, you know what, I should do something with that, and never do. So they did it for me. Big place to put the engine and everything. Little bit of detail in here, but we could paint this up. This will look good. The underside, clean as a whistle on both sides. I don't see anything. I do feel a scratch right there, but that's about it. The A-frames are molded, buried in there. It's just kind of show up. So if you do that, you can paint it, and then even if you do this semi-gloss and hit that with quick shine for the frame, or for the A-frame, and then maybe a little bit of flat aluminum here for showing the rod. But I mean, that's just simple stuff that's buried down in there. You or I'll never we'll notice it, but nobody else ever will. Steering box comes down, stops right here, but it's already there. Instead of trying to figure out how to get your fingers with the tweezers and get that to line up at the right angle and all that, it's there for you. So I'm good with that. Again, it's there. I can detail paint it. I don't need to add it. So, like I said, sometimes part counts just makes things harder. We'll pull out our glass first. One piece has some turn signals on it that I'm not quite sure where those are going to go. But one piece glass, it's very clear. This one came unscratched. I'll do a video on how I do these, because I've been asked a couple of times, and I've also been asked how I use my quick shine to glue my windows in. and I'm going to definitely do that video because I've been doing it a little different. The past 3 builds, I tack it in the corners with my gloss Mod Podge. Then I'll let that dry, and then I come back with the quick shine and I weld it in place with the quick shine. I mean, it's just quick shine glue, but man, I've been flexing these bodies like crazy, just waiting for that glass to pop, and it doesn't. So I'm liking the results I'm getting with that. I'm hoping that that hood has that much of an arch to it. I think it does, but we'll see. I want to put that glass back in here before somehow I hit it with my X-Acto knife. And now, last but not least, is that awesome GTO body. I love the looks of this. Everybody goes, well, it's just a Chevelle and a Pontiac frame. Yeah, it is. It's a Chevelle and a Pontiac body. And everybody had a Chevelle around here. It wasn't too many people had the GTOs. And that's kind of why I like the GTOs. Look, it even says it's #1. But that's why I like them. They were different. Not everybody had them. Not everybody would just, have the parts for the 350 and bang boom on the Chevelles. They were everywhere. Where these didn't, they weren't, and they kind of stood out to me. This one has, you saw the steering box down below. It has the steering shaft coming out. So be careful with that, but at least it's there and it's already angled right. Heater box, radiator shroud, nothing up here for the latch or anything. So it's gonna be there. Hoping the hood fits. We'll find that out. The little V on the tip, we'll get the chrome out right away, or the front cap right away, and make sure everything lines up there. On the bottom side, again, no huge, there's one here. I mean, they're here, but they'll be easy to clean out for the extrusion marks. And you have locator pins. There's 3 for the glass and 2 for the chassis. So this thing should be able to get down, lock in, and be happy. So there you go. The GTO sticks out just a little bit. You could get away with painting that, but I think since we got the 3, we can locate those right where they need to be, let them dry, hit them with a little bit of the microsol. They'll form fit, and they'll look really good there. But that is nice. Our marker in the back is just the right depth. It's not really huge. And we have the chrome trim around the bottom. And this is really light right here for the chrome around the wheel wells. Real light. Molded in door handles, so parts count there too. Door latch. I've done a couple of them now that these aren't, they're not on. The last, that Firebird, they had a huge marker in here. And I liked it because when I was doing my prep sanding, I was able to go through the whole door and not worry about taking off the detail. But 50 cents in one hand, 2/4 in the other. High gloss on this right off the rip. If you wanted to do a white one, you could almost get away with just running some polish on here. I mean, it is smooth, but it looks good. I'm happy with this. I'm looking forward to building this. This will be, this might be the first build that comes out of my new shop next door. So we'll have to see. But with that, I want to talk to you about the box for just a second. Like I said, it was smashed. I called Amazon. I complained about it. They told me when I order a model kit from Amazon where they say any special instructions, tell them to put these in a box and not a bag. And then they should come boxed. She told me that on the phone. I'll be finding that out if I ever get another one from Amazon, because this is kind of ridiculous. I'm lucky they had that little cardboard support going through here to keep this from flexing in, or else it would have been destroyed. She did make it right. took a little couple bucks off. I told her I'm not a collector of boxes, but I do keep them, and I do have a show that I show people. So yeah, in the comments, tell them, put it in a box, and then they will when they ship it out. So there we go. The GTO, gonna be the GTO Judge, just because we had one of those in town, and I want to show one off. So with that, I'll let you go. Y'all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and again, thank you for watching.